After. See? 1, 2, 3, 4.
My hopes was to redefine the psychology of how we view the facilities that are our small institutions, from the standpoint of support for one, and how we function as a community. I brought this together because I wanted to help CEC. My logic was that I didn't see the kind of support and help that CEC needed to get in reference to the time and years that people have come here collectively and have gotten so much from it. And I realized that the concept for most people was to just come, get something, and leave. Nobody has really approached the idea of giving something back.
For food stamps and health care and quality education, or if I'm in the boardroom fighting for equality from the white male power structure, or I'm in those classes and those PhD classes and it's just me and everybody else. And so that shared experience is what kind of brings us together and gives us that black woman sisterhood that we have to embrace. And we have to, it's so important that we go back and make sure that we mentor and that we share with other young black women, because we've had that experience of what it is to be at the table, especially for those of us that can get to the table to have to fight for equality within those power structures and our political systems. I mean, there's a great disparity between us as black women and everybody else in every socio-political economic system that exists. So we've got to start creating our own stories and writing our own books. And I kept thinking about this because I was like, am I really going to say this today? But I'm going to say it because we got a small group, so I'm going to say it. You know, if Steve Harvey can write a book about how you should behave, if all of these young black men can go on speaking tours and tell you how you're supposed to behave as a black woman in a relationship, why are we not out there telling our own stories?
For CEC, a relatively new board member for CEC, and I manage community and external partnership for People's Emergency Center, and have done a lot of that kind of work for a number of years. But my genesis community education center, even before becoming a board member, is that my cousins live excuse me, in the major community, and in Belmont, which are the neighborhoods that are right over here. And when this space was kind of up for grabs from Quaker Meeting House, there was a group of people in the community that went to their state senator and said, we really need to have space for a community, and for a community to be able to interact and have all kinds of classes and meeting and that sort of thing.
One, two, three, four.
Values, you can have values, but you also could walk away. But when you have an investment in something, you can't really, you don't walk away from that, right? Because you're losing something. You know, you've invested into that, or you have an invested interest in that. So.
I wasn't happy with just being on stage and just dancing night after night. I knew that art was very transformative and had the capability of transforming lives and giving people tools to be their best self.
Back home, they make the great show now. And down, I got one to the break. Okay.
My focus was definitely on making sure that we had classes, because if there's not the next teacher or the next person to carry on that torch, then we could lose a big chunk of our culture.
I got a major part of my education in neo-traditional African dance styles in this room. So it's really fitting that we're having this forum today.
How do we see this thing called African dance and culture from the framework of ourselves?
Every class should make it their intention to produce a teacher that can then go to their own neighborhoods
And teach. Culture to me is a large part about setting an identity.
The most important thing was to continue to give back to my community.
Although I wanted to dance, I didn't want it to be dance for dance sake.
Though things seem like they might be a little dire right now, there is a sense of community, right? But I can look across the room and haven't seen Rachel I don't know how long and recognize her, and our eyes widen and we hug each other, because what we have in common is the commonality of our experience of being taught and educated in dance here.